Welcome to Up, and Away, the restaurant marketing podcast, saving the world from bad marketing, brought to you by Qubriux, the all-in-one platform for loyalty and customer engagement. Today's topic, we're going to talk about the perfect Instagram optimization plan according to Meta. Now, I'm super excited. This is lucky episode 13. Some people may not think 13 is lucky. I think 13 is an awesome number. I think it's a personal choice. Super excited. We have Arun. He's the founder and CEO at Qubriux. He's a tech veteran with over 2 decades of experience. Before Qubriux, he was the principal data scientist and architect for developing Starbucks' personalized customer engagement. I'm Rev Ciencio, a hospitality marketing consultant, tech evangelist, content creator, and co-founder and CMO at Handcraft Burgers and Brew in New York City and Salad House in New Jersey. And if you happen to be watching the replay of this, if you're watching the video, not listening to audio, yes, it is St. Patrick's Day. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. So, my friends, I am super excited. Let me tell you, today's episode is a banger. I literally said, Arun, I want to control the conversation. He was like, all right, it's yours. We are tackling and talking about the always hungry, rarely grateful beast that is the content monster, specifically as it relates to Instagram, not Facebook, not TikTok, not X, not YouTube, Instagram. Hey, look, we all know the story here, right? Creating that perfect piece of social media content takes like countless of hours, tons of energy, and a lot of effort just to create a post that gets like 10 likes, which is also probably why Arun and I prefer email marketing, because it's scalable and easy. Gets to lots of people and you can measure revenue, right, buddy?
You know what, Rev? Social media marketing finds its place in every marketing 101 post now, right? It took about 13th episode for us to get there, but better later than never, right? So
yes, not as important as CRM marketing, but yes, important.
Yeah. Instagram is a thing. I mean, my daughter, she's just done her 10th, and she immediately, first thing she did is get her Instagram account. I think every new generation, especially the younger folks, they are on Instagram. So it's a must that you should know the tactics for Instagram, Facebook, and how to have create effective digital contents to engage your audience. It's a must-have
sure.
skill. So
yeah, I totally agree.
Great that we have Rev here speaking about it.
But it does take a lot of time and effort, right? Countless and countless of hours, tons of energy. Creativity is not something we're all rich with. I know even me, I struggle with it, right? Even worse, you go create that post. It takes like 10 levels of approval to get done. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And then that algorithm just like laughs in your face. I know for a fact that you made a sweet cheese pull last week on a video that nobody looked at. Okay. As we were getting rid of this episode, we found out that the average Instagram engagement rate for dining for restaurants, hospitality, tourism is only 3.8%. So how many followers you have, whatever kind of likes you're getting, blah, blah, only 3.8% of that. So that includes like even the biggest accounts, 3.8%. That's low. Instagram is literally brutal. I struggle with it all the time. The question I always ask is, what am I doing wrong? Guys, I want you to take a breath. I got you. Okay. I recently had a top secret meeting, a clandestine rendezvous, if you will, an audience with an Instagram growth advisor from Meta. True story. Dun dun dun. Drum roll, please. And while I cannot reveal everything that we discussed in that meeting, I can share some game-changing tactics. Again, I got reached out to by an actual representative from Meta, whose job it is to help creators grow their account, and they let me ask any question I want, and they answered a ton of questions. They given me a bunch of game-changing tactics that I've personally tested, and I can confirm actually work. We are going to talk about a real, honest-to-goodness Instagram optimization tactic plan straight from the source, from that Meta person's mouth to my ears to this podcast. Rooney, excited?
Yes, Rev. The basic fundamental questions about the content marketing: what, whom, and when, right? Who are the audience, and when to do it. So let's start from the last part. Is there a right time to post your Instagram content? Any day of the week, any time?
This is like one of the oldest questions in Instagram is like, when should I post? Okay. And I have tested everything. I've read all kinds of gurus saying this, that it doesn't matter, this matter, blah, blah, blah. Again, somebody from Meta directly told me the following. The best time to post is within 60 minutes before you have a lift in engagement from your audience. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go into your professional dashboard on Instagram and you want to go see when do you have a bump in engagement. Okay. For me, it starts at 9 a.m., but it gets heavy at noon. So where are my followers, the people that like my content, most heavily engaged on Instagram? For me, it's between 9 a.m. and noon is when the climb starts. Okay. So for me, that means I need to post somewhere right before 9 a.m. because I want my content to go live right before my audience is engaged on my content. Does that make sense?
Right.
So if you're a brand or a creator, or really anybody trying to optimize what time to post, it's a great question to start with, Arun. You go into your professional dashboard, you go to new followers, and you look at engagement times. Wherever the lift happens, wherever the bar chart starts to go up, 30 to 60 minutes before that. So for me, it's 8:30 in the morning. I posted right before we recorded the show.
Arab, that assumes that typically there is a pattern of high engagement. I mean, is there a chance that you know some of our fellow restaurant marketers finds that, what, I don't see a particular pattern just all over the place of engagement. That can that happen typically? Like, have you ever seen that kind of a pattern when you work with your clients?
I've never, so I have seen where it changes day to day, where like a Sunday might be noon and a Monday might be 3 p.m. and a Wednesday might be 8 a.m. I have seen variance across the week, but I don't see variance week over week. So if your spike is 9 a.m. on Wednesdays and 3 p.m. on Thursdays, it's going to be that way every week. I've not seen dramatic changes where like you need to go in and look week over week. Now, I would tell you as a marketer, you should always measure your marketing, right? We should do this and regularly once a month or every 90 days, I would probably go look and see if that spike changes. But I would assume that if you go look at it today and your spike is at noon, it's probably been at noon for years. It's probably gonna be at noon for years. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But there's one more thing, right? So that to establish the fact that a certain day of or time is my high engagement rate, you probably will have to initially you'll have to especially when you're starting new, you'll probably will have to test it out, and then you start creating content and post it at different times, and then see that which of those times is your high engagement rate. And then once you establish the fact that this is actually my true high engagement time period, then you can start doing the 60 minutes prayer strategy. Correct?
Yeah, for sure. I would start with the analytics that Instagram gives you. Just it's a good place to start.
Okay.
That to say, like, okay, for me, like I said, my big jump happens at noon. I'm never available to be on Instagram at noon. I'm busy. I'm on calls. I'm talking to people. I'm doing something, right? But the first lift for me happens at 9 a.m. Between around 8:30, I'm probably not on a phone call. So that's why I do it at 8:30. So again, I had to test what worked for me, right? I couldn't do it at 11:30 every day. I guess I could use a scheduler. I like to post natively. But anyway, the point is use Instagram analytics, find out when the spike in your engagement, your follows from engagement followers happens on a day-to-day basis. Start posting 30 to 60 minutes before that goes live. If it doesn't work, then yeah, I would test other times.
Okay. Okay. So I think I'll have more questions than I have already a ton of questions, but let's just go through the points before we time out.
Okay, awesome. I'm just gonna sort of roll through everything they told us in a sort of a semi-organized fashion. If you have any questions, I want you to stop me because a lot of this stuff I do all the time, and I know it could be confusing. Okay, here's a big one: hashtags, keywords, time of day, like all that stuff. A lot of people want to look at the tactics. We just talked about what time of day to post, right? People want to know, should I do a carousel? Should I do a reel? What hashtags do I use? Do I need to tag a location? Doesn't need to be well lit. Like all those, like sort of like brick by brick tactics. And I can tell you this, Arun. Yes, those things are important, but there's one thing that's more important than all of it. Okay, it is the quality of the content. Okay, you could take literally the same if you make an awesome video and you post it twice on Instagram, and one has all the hashtags and done all the right time and blah blah blah, and the other is just the video, the difference won't be that big, right? It is the quality. And the thing that specifically the growth optimizer at Meta told us was tell a story. Okay. That for restaurants, specifically in this business, what people want to see is either something funny, they want to be entertained, or they want to be told a story. So, like, just showing me a picture of a burger is not the same as telling me why you created that burger. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So Arif, just to add that point, I think it's also important to uh, connect the content to the audience. So, for example, if I don't like, I'm not a burger guy, right? If I see a burger, I don't hate it, I don't love it, I don't have a particular connection to that. So, I think it's also important to sort of understand your audience and then create custom, content for your segments. I mean, the messaging could be same. So when I work with some of our customers, and even some of the large brands I know, what they do is that they personalize the content. The messaging could be same, but for a burger lover, they show burger, and for a pizza lover, they show pizza. It could be as simple as that, so that customers feel engaged and connected more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, to your point, organic content on Instagram is a retention tool. It's not an acquisition tool.
Right.
So you're speaking to your guests. So yes, if you understand your guests better, you're going to create better content for sure. Right. For sure.
Yeah, that's why, for example, if you're able to segment your customers from your CRM tool, and then if you are able to upload that into Instagram, then you can have that segmentation, retention point of you upload it into Instagram and then do the same thing. I mean, Qubriux enables functionality like that. I'm not to, uh, brag about that, but just say that since in the context, I think if you have a CRM tool, it will help you to create the right segment for the content and upload that into Instagram.
Yeah, I'll give you actually a perfect use case, right? At the burger shop, we went into our CRM and started looking at a bunch of data. And I said, okay, I think we've talked about this in the show, but I'll talk about it nonstop. I said, show me the top 10 menu items that people order who've only eaten here once. Okay. Then show me the top 10 menu items of people who have eaten here 5 times or more. What's the difference? Okay. For somebody that's a regular versus somebody who's a one timer, what is the regular ordering? What I learned was our spicy chicken sandwich and our deep fried hot dogs become favorites to guests who have been there a bunch of times. They sort of work their way down the menu. We all do this. We find a favorite restaurant, we start trying other things on the menu. We kind of find like our thing deeper in the menu. You know what I mean? That to me, again, from a data standpoint, is a retention item. What's the menu item that people gravitate to after they've been there a few times? If you can look into your CRM and you know what your retention items are, you can then surface more of them in your marketing to get people to that item first. So for sure, I agree. Like that's a use case. We did that at the burger shop. I increased the marketing of our chicken sandwich and our hot dogs by 20%. Guess what? We sell 20% more chicken and hot dogs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For sure. Now back to content. Another thing they said in terms of like tell a story, be interesting, all that kind of stuff, content. They said that like, look, people want to be entertained on social media. So you can participate in a meme every once in a while. Like that does work really well on Instagram. I'm not saying that you should like become a TikTok dancer for your pizza shop, but like if you see a meme that's happening on social media and it makes sense for your brand to participate, then by all means you should do that because memes also do pretty well.
Okay.
Okay, so next, let's move on. I just talked about how important quality is over all those little tactics. Now, another question I get asked is about reels, carousels, image, all that kind of stuff. Here's what they said. Now, I kind of knew this, but this was confirmed to me. If you want to reach more people, post a video or a reel because reels hit the explore page and reels get pushed out to more new people. If you want to reach more of your audience, people who follow you, or in a restaurant world, we call those guests, post more carousels. Okay. Carousels are maximized to talk to your followers. Reels are maximized for reach. Now, don't take this the wrong way. I know what I would hear here. And I think most restaurants will be like, well, I'm going to reach new people. I'm going to do all reels. It is absolutely a mistake. Okay. And it's a mistake that I've been making for years. When Instagram came out with reels and they're paying the creator fund, like, this is how you reach more people. I was like, we're only doing reels. I heard you, Instagram. Huge mistake. The meta growth specialist specifically said that you need a mix of reels and a mix of carousels, right? If you're a brand or you're a restaurant, you want to reach new audience, you have some reels, but you can't leave your guests behind. So you have to do carousels. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a couple of things. With carousels, okay, I didn't say single image. I said carousels. A carousel is multiple images. You ever seen where you can like, it's like panels, you can scroll through the images.
That's
Okay.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, not a single image, a carousel, at least 2 pictures. Now, here's why. Okay. If I'm following Arun's restaurant on Instagram and you post a carousel and I see it in my feed and I like it or I comment or I send it, but I don't swipe, the next time I come to Instagram, Instagram's going to show me that content again, starting on the second image or the third image or the fourth image or the fifth image. So the reason that you should do carousels is you get multiple shots at your followers with a carousel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
So they said to me, I was like, well, I post every day. What should I do? They said, well, for a account that posts every day for a creator, it would be 5 reels, 2 carousels a week. If you're a restaurant, you kind of want to speak to your guests a little bit more. So you might want to go every other day, right? You might want to go reel one day, carousel the next day. Now, if you're like, Rev, I can't post every day. I get it. I can only post every day. Do reel, skip a day, carousel, skip a day, reels, carousel. Make sense? Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Okay.
Okay. One other thing. Okay. Super important when it comes to carousels. They said that you have to add trending audio. It's really important that on those carousel images where you're swiping, they're using trending audio. And if you do not know how to find trending audio, it's very simple. You open up Instagram, you go to the Reels tab, you click the audio of the first video you see because likely it's trending. And then at the top of the page, you'll see a little trending arrow. You tap that, and it will show you all the music that's trending. Okay. Pick out 4 or 5 that fit the vibe of your restaurant or your brand and just save them. So that later when you go to press those carousels and you hit music, you just hit trending or you hit save, find all the trending audio. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Okay. Did they give any idea about why audio is important?
I think there's an engagement thing that like if I'm scrolling through my feed and I'm seeing all these funny dancing videos and silly memes and videos, and then I just see a video, it might not be enough to catch my attention. But if there's music, it's one more sense of audio or one more sense of input that might just keep me there. So I do think it's like a hook type thing. It's like I hear the music, it gets my energy going. They didn't specifically say that. That's my hot take. But they didn't say need both reels and carousels. And if you're gonna do carousels, you gotta have trending audio. I've tested this 1,000%. It works. Arun, I felt so dumb. Like the very first carousel I posted after I heard this got like 36,000 views. And I was like, wow, I'm a moron.
Wow.
How
Okay.
did how did I ignore this?
So that gives one thing. How do I know what is the direction? Like what is the right content? Correct. The direction kind of content, right? Let's say if I'm a burger shop, do I keep posting food items, burgers, and etc. Or can I just show pictures of something cool, something totally different, which is not even a restaurant pic? And how do I know that that kind of content will work?
So you bring up this is a good question. And the meta growth specialist did not go into this, but I can speak from experience here that it does take a little bit of data, where you got to know who your guests are for sure, where you got to know what they're into. And you have to remember that organic content on Instagram is retention. So if you know who your guests are and you think about retention, you're part that boat is part of the way down the river already. Okay.
Right.
What do you do then? Man, honest to God, I would just create a bunch of content that feels right, like use your hunch, and then go back and look over the last 30 days. What worked, what didn't work, and then surface more of what worked. Here's a tip I got from Adam Masseri. So Adam, he's the CEO of Instagram. I don't want to act like I know the dude. I just follow him on Instagram. I read all his tips. By the way, if you're not following Masseri or creators on Instagram, you're making a mistake. All brands should be following both the CEO of Instagram and the creators account because little nuggets like this, they post like 3 or 4 times a week. It's like it's micro learning for Instagram. Anyway, he said that one of the biggest problems with content creators and with brands is creative burnout. We talked about that. Being creative on Instagram it's hard, man. Like it'd just be easier to post a picture of a burger every day, right? Like that would be easier, but that's not what works. So one of the things that he suggested is that you find like themes or you almost find like episodic level type things that you can do on repeat. Okay. Not to be boring, but so it's easier to be a content creator. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. You ever watch an episode of Friends or an episode of Cheers or any sitcom? You ever watch? They're all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same, right?
Yeah.
Every single show, even Saturday Night Live. There's like they open on a wacky political thing, then they go to the cold open, or sorry, it's called the cold open. Then they bring out the guests, then they do a silly commercial. Like it's the same thing. And at midnight, the band comes on or whatever. Like it's the same structure. Okay. There's a reason. There's a reason why like the backbone of writing Star Wars is the same as Harry Potter, right? Because those work. They're structures and frameworks. So what Adam, the CEO of Instagram, is saying is if you can go back and analyze your content and you can see particular like patterns that resonate with your audience and you can turn that into repeatable structures, repeatable frameworks, that really works. That was a whole bunch of marketing gobbledygook. Do you want an example that makes it easier?
Yes, go ahead.
You're like, no, don't tell me. Okay.
No, I
So
have I have some thoughts. I'm just thinking about it, but I'll hear from you first.
I'm going to give you a really simple example. Okay. So at the burger shop at Handcraft Burgers and Brew, we do a specialty burger every month. We have a burger of the month. Okay. It's like a special burger. When we create a video to announce the burger of the month, it is literally the exact same structured video every single time. Every single time. I've done it for so many years now that I know what works. And so I know exactly what to shoot. I have the exact same script and I just cut and replace it. And the process is so much easier. Right. If you want to go see, just go to Handcraft Burgers on Instagram and you'll see my burger of the month post. It's the same every month. Sorry, you had a thought.
Yes. So I think for some of the for audiences who may be new to marketing, so this is a like don't just sell the food, sell them the destination, the dreams. For example, if you're a salad chain, then have advertisement, have posting which shows maybe someone climbing a mountain, right? Something like health. So basically you're conveying that you're connecting with the customer who wants to be healthy, and then showing them the journey of their health journey, and saying that, hey, here's the mountaineering, or the guy who's running the marathon. So you're selling them the personal dream of becoming a healthier person, right? Not just the food. Or similarly, if you're a coffee shop, you probably should have content which shows people having nice discussions over coffee, and then basically you're selling the idea that coffee is not just coffee. You're connecting with your friends. You're connecting with everybody else, right? So that sort of idea which I'm saying, right? So in any advertisement in general, like Nike, right? Nike is not just selling shoes. The advertisement, they never talk about their shoes or products when they advertise. They shows athletes running, and then they sell you the dream of that. So same idea, right? So you should find more avenues and use your imaginations to come up with the right content where you can connect with your customers' dream and goal of why they're coming to your restaurant.
Yeah, you gotta know why people love what you do, right? It's like, I was talking to some friends of mine the other day. They work with a very large casual dining brand, like a full service casual dining brand. My family and I go eat at this it's a chain. We go eat there all the time, not because of like deals and discounts. We go there because it's fun. Like it's a good place. We like to go. Like the servers are nice and look, the food is good, but they have like games and stuff for the kids. 100%. Our decision to go there is based on an experience, right?
Right.
Now, look, if their food started sucking tomorrow, we'd probably look for a different one. But if you go look at their Instagram or you sign up for their emails, everything is discount this, food that, discount this, food this, and I'm like, that is not why people go to your restaurant.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you know why people like if you're a family oriented restaurant, your content on social media should be about having a good time with your family, or some of it at least. Okay, we went deep on that. That was a good topic. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, I want to move us forward. So we talked about quality content. We talked about best time of day to post. We talked about why reels, why carousels. We talked about trending audio. People are probably wondering, how do I grow? Like, what is the best way to grow my account? I'm sure you're wondering. You're wondering.
I do. Yeah. Of course.
Okay, so this is what they told me as a content creator. The way I should grow my account as a content creator is to collaborate with other content creators. So that me and other Instagrammers and other food bloggers or influencers, I should go co-create content with them, because they basically are saying that collaborations with content creators is the best, most organic way to grow on Instagram. So what does that mean if you're a restaurant? How do you translate that? The best way to grow on Instagram is not by posting every day. It's not by doing everything we just said. That's how to engage retention. But the best way to grow is with content creators. Go out there and find influencers in your town, in your area, and that has an audience that you want to connect with, and get them to start creating content with you on a regular basis. Okay. It's no longer a nice to have, it's a need to have. If you want to grow on Instagram, you've got to be working with influencers and content creators.
Got it. Okay. Interesting.
Uh, and now here's an optimization tactic. I'm the tactic guy. They said, if you're going to go do collaborations with content creators, it is best to accept the collaboration. So if nobody knows what it means, when I create content on social media, I can make another account, a content collaborator. They accept it and it shows up in both of our feeds. They said that it is best to accept the collaboration in as near real time as possible, ideally within 30 minutes. So if I'm going to create content for Arun's taco shop, and I don't know why we did sign you a taco shop, but we're going to go with it. If you engage me as a content creator to create content for your taco shop and I create content, you and I need to coordinate. Hey, I'm going to post Tuesday at 9 a.m. Great. Let me know as soon as you do it so that you, the business, the restaurant, can accept the collaboration again within 30 minutes of it going live. Apparently, like if you miss that window, you don't get all the juice. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So super important if you're going to do content collaborations, accept right away. Okay, I know we're sort of getting to the top of the show here. I definitely want to bring up one more thing that they brought up. I was kind of thinking about this and I was doing this, but they confirmed it is super important. Okay. You need to go onto your account and you need to remove scam accounts and bots. Okay. And you're like, what does that mean? How did I get those? If you open up your Instagram account as a restaurant and you go to your followers, you scroll down, you're going to see a number of different like segments of followers. One is going to be scam accounts and one's going to be deactive accounts. Okay. Deactivated accounts. You need to remove them. Here's why. Instagram, when you create new content, Instagram randomly shows your content to some of your followers, like a random selection. If it performs well with those followers, they then show it to more. If it performs well, the more, the more, the more, the more. Okay. Because they randomize who it gets sent to, it might be getting sent to those deactivated accounts or spam bots. They're not going to see your content. They're not going to interact with it. Therefore, it's not going to get shown. So you need to diligently go into your account on a daily basis and remove deactivated accounts and remove spam accounts. Now, here's the thing. They told me to do it manually, go one by one, because it's possible that they got it wrong. So like if Arun's mom is following Arun's taco shop and she hasn't done anything on Instagram in 6 months, but she does look, she just doesn't post, she may have been classified incorrectly. So they're saying to go through one by one and remove them. Now, here's what I would tell you best practices. I think you can remove up to 50 followers per day without Instagram saying, hey, what are you doing? You're doing a follow unfollow thing. So anyway, super important. Go to your followers, find deactivated accounts, remove 50 per day. Okay. I have an account, Arun, that has 5,000 deactivated accounts at 50.
Wow.
Like at 50 a day, it's literally, I've been doing it for months, but I'm going to get there. And for sure, at the end of doing that, it will be easier to maintain, but ultimately, more of my content will be shown to real followers. Super important. Does that make sense?
Yes, Rav. I think this is super tribal knowledge, but super important, right? I don't think much of the marketers have thought about this. Interesting.
Amen. Well, look, I know we're at the top of the conversation here. Again, this is a great conversation I had with somebody at Meta. I wanted to bring it to our podcast to share with all of our listeners. If you guys have any questions, you can obviously ping me. You can ping Arun. We're happy to discuss this. But Arun, any last questions before we close it up here?
I wanted to talk about how often you post, or what's the
Oh,
minimum, please. Once a week is minimum, or once in 2 days?
so I did not ask that question, but what I have understood based on these things, my takeaway is they said, look, for sure, the more you post, the more engagement you get. 1,000%. Adam Mosseri said that. If you post one post every hour, 24 hours, 7 days a week, you will get more engagement. But then you'll have creator burnout. You'll have creative burnout, and that's a problem. So you basically need to create content at the cadence that you can maintain all of this, that you can be creative, that you can be interesting, that you can speak to your followers. And if that's every day, do every day. If it's every other day, do every other day. If it's once a week, try harder, but do once a week. But I would encourage restaurants, who is our audience here, every other day. That's what we do at the burger shop. That's what that's what I tell my clients to do. But I would try to do every other day.
Interesting. Okay. Quality over quantity, I believe.
Yeah, for sure, quality over quantity. Although if you could do quality and quantity, that's the win. It's just really hard. It's just really hard. They can't produce a new Star Wars movie every day, right? So they make a great one whenever they can. Apparently, they can make a lot of Mandalorian videos. That's a whole nother story. Different podcast. All right, everybody, listen, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Can you please share this episode with a friend who might also find it helpful? And remember to give us a rating right now. This helps us to spread the word to others who might find this valuable, just like you do. On the next episode, we're going to talk about marketing to specific dietary niches, beyond vegetarian to vegan. So make sure that you hit subscribe on your favorite podcast player so you don't miss an episode from us. Cheers.